Alright, we just dismasted about 50, 60 miles north of Hawaii, I think. And rod rigging, you can see it over here. This thing just came right down on us. Big crash. Too heavy, too much in the water for us to save, so we're going to jettison the whole thing here. Alright, so that's our next job. It's about 2,100 hours. It's been underway for less than 12 hours.
Watch yourself on the right behind you.
Yeah, but this is free tonight.
Get away quickly.
Hey, let me get to a different spot. I'm worried about this rod rigging hitting me.
Alright. You're going to have to get away.
No, we don't have a mate. We don't have imminent loss of life.
Alright, there's some line inside of that plastic bag. Give me that line.
Roger. You want me to cut the main sheet?
Yeah.
Heads up, the boom is coming your way. What's still attached back here? I can't anyway. I'll see, I'll look in a second. All right, want to tether? So Onstein, you've been dismasted 50 miles outside of Hawaii. What are you feeling right now?
Like go to Disneyland, I guess. All right, so good. I think got cleared away, right? I'll just double check all the corners of the boat, make sure everything is gone. All right. So just take a look around. Yeah, videotape. Can you turn off your headlight, please? I'll keep mine on. Sorry. All right. So I just want to get your statement for the record. Yeah, David, you were on watch, right?
Correct.
And the wind speed was about what you think? Right about now, less than 15.
Yeah, I mean, right around there, right around 15.
15, 18 maybe at the very most.
Yeah, that's
I
what
mean,
I think.
it feels like we got about 15 knots. I think apparent wind-wise, you had about 18, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, 50. Actually, we have less than 15 knots now.
Okay.
All right, true wind. So.
But we were beating into the wind. We were almost close hauled. So we also had the boat speed added to it.
Boat's pretty quick, so apparent wind goes up. All right, and then what happened?
We were going along right around 10 knots, I'd say, is what our boat speed was. It was fluctuating between 8 and 10 knots. And then I was looking up, admiring the glow-in-the-dark stripes on the sails, and heard a loud cracking noise. And then the boom took its time coming down, crashed over onto the port side of the boat. We were on starboard tack. And
did you hear some kind of noise prior to going, like a big break or in a wire or something let go?
I didn't. It didn't feel like I heard a snap, kind of let go kind of thing. The first I really heard about it was mid boom.
Okay.
Like maybe a third. That's what occurred to me.
All right, so the entire mast came raking back, right?
Sorry, not boom.
Yeah, the mast, because we lost the forestay, so the whole thing came your direction.
Yeah.
Boom and then mast.
Yeah, first the boom hit, and then the mast came down on top of it.
Okay. All right, here's a rundown on my dismasting. Sailing vessel move about 50 miles north of Hawaii on the night of August 10th, 24, coming back from Pac Cup. 3 people on board, everybody safe. All right, so excuse the wind noise and my voice. I'm just getting over COVID, and it's kind of a nightmare to have COVID and deal with this at the same time. Anyway, this is where it happened. This toggle here is naked. Toggle, I mean, and this is where it let go, and you can see right there some sharpness to it. So whatever let go, is probably being sawed by that right there. So there was something going on in this connection. So you can see that it's bent. There's a sharp little rise to it right about there. I can feel it with my finger. The other side, not so bad. But right here, something was working, and I think that's where it let go. Just popped right off. The pin in here was taped with Teflon tape. Wasn't really visible, but Teflon tape coated it, and I found that Teflon tape torn, laying on the foredeck after the dismasting. I didn't take a picture of it though. Anyway, that's where it left the boat, and the whole thing came crashing right down. Pretty tall mast, and most of it was in the water, obviously. So mast up here, and mast laid over about that direction right there. You can see the bent stanchions on that side. You can see the bent stanchion over here on this side. So 3 bent stanchions. And chain plate here looks fine. This was laying into the lifelines, obviously. So that's the outer or upper shroud, lower shroud. Same thing on the other side. All right, so too much in the water to deal with, rocking back and forth. We all have COVID. It's at night. Rod rigging makes it even worse. So decided just to let it go and not try to retrieve any of it. I think it was the wise choice. Anyway, so if I had to do it again, would I do it differently? Yeah, I would have probably worn gloves. I forgot to do that. Done me for forgetting that. Safety goggles, good for everybody, because when you're dealing with rod rigging, especially, you got these sharp ends that are, stabbing around and whipping around. That would have been a really good idea. I had my glasses on, but I think David had his glasses on, but I'm not sure if everybody had safety goggles on. So that's a mistake. The boat's movement, without a mast, you would think that the inertial stability of the boat would be quite different, right? The boat would be rocking quite back and forth quite violently and quickly. Actually, with the rig still in the water and all the rigging still attached to it, the boat's movement was modified or moderated by that, basically a sea anchor. So it wasn't until we started cutting away the rig where the boat really started to move. So I thought that was kind of interesting dynamic there, something I learned. And if I had to do it all again, I would do it the same way. I think I cut the rods that were overhanging the boat. That way we could push the rig further away from the boat that way. So I wanted to get the rig as far away from the boat and let it go over the side, and then cut away from the the downwind side or whatever. So I'm not sure which one I cut first, but I cut one of these two first. Here's the lower shroud, here's the upper shroud. I use a cut-off wheel, and I'll show you that in a minute. And that worked great. Zoom real quick. And then I kind of evaluated how I should do the rest. So the butt end of the mast was right here, hanging on all these lines. So I used the cut-off wheel to cut through lines and wires and stuff, and that really kind of got it moving that way. So then I came around on my knees and went over here to the downwind shrouds, right? The upper and lower. So I think I got the upper one first, lower one first, so I just cut off that one real easy. And you can see how nice, fast, and clean that cut is right there with the cutoff wheel. And then I went to this one. Now by the time that happened, by the way, by the time I cut off this guy, the entire rig was in the water. And I'm still checking for, anything bumping against the hull. I'm listening for that, really. And I'm looking for lines, caught around the boat. Rudders, keel, whatever. And didn't see any lines hanging up on the boat. So I was aware of that. And so forth. So anyway, the one that was most difficult was this guy right here. I'll show you. All right, so this was the leeward upper shroud, and this is took the brunt of the force here. So, this is cocked over, actually down pretty much this way. Is how it was when I got to it. So that means the rig is below the boat, basically sunk below the boat, and everything is cut, all the lines, everything. And I'm over here cutting off the last rod rigging, or trying to. But you can see how low the rod rigging is here, right? So you can see that I tried stabbing at it, multiple times with the cutoff wheel, and it was just really hard to reach. And water was coming up to here, so I had to time it with the waves. So the boat was now rocking because we've lost most of our inertial stability. You can see how the chain plate is bent out here. And so I even tried cutting it up here, right here, whatever, but it was moving around a lot, and it was just really difficult. I finally got it cut right here. but it took everything I got. So I'm leaning rather precariously, I guess, over the side. My crew didn't like it, but what the hell. So I started grinding it, and finally, like, oh, Jesus Christ. I didn't want to do that again. So anyway, so if I had to do it all over again, I might have started with this one first, knowing what I know now. Because that one was, that was the most difficult one to cut through. I could have left this one on. That would have extended the rig out, and then with this one gone, and I made that my last cut. That would have been on deck. All right, so that's the only thing I probably would have done differently in terms of cutting everything away. And this is my demasting kit. So I got a demasting kit here. Danger, always unload or secure the lines. You want to unload or at least feel the load in the rod rigging before you cut it, because it might whiplash or spring, and hit something or stab you or whatever. So you want to get an idea for the load. And I checked the load on all these before I cut them. And surprisingly, the loads weren't that severe. It wasn't like it was pulling, with 2 tons or force or anything like that. Obviously, on the lured one, it did, because it bent the chain plate. But everything else, I could feel it by hand that it wasn't that loaded. And I could have just put my glove on the darn thing and cut it, and that would have been fine. In one case, I thought about putting a line around it, securing the load so it wouldn't snap away, but didn't end up needing it. If you're going to cut carbon fiber, and this boat did have carbon fiber mass and boom, then you got to wear a personal respirator, because carbon fiber dust is like asbestos. It's nasty stuff. Wear gloves, forgot to do that. Goggles, didn't do that. Headlamp, of course. PFD shoes. Stay alert. So in this bag, I got a cutaway tool, battery, hammer, 3 pins, drift pins, hacksaw, duckbill pliers, that's to remove the cotter pins and such, screwdriver, knife, spare blades, 15 feet of red line, that's to take the load away, safety goggles, and an N95 mask. So there's my cutoff wheel. These things are great. Here's my rope. This is a small secured hacksaw blade, small hammer. I got a few of these drift pins in there, extra blades, some N95 masks, safety goggles, which I did not wear, or a line. Here are my duckbill pliers, which are good for removing stuff. Sharp knife for cutting away line, which I don't think I put on there. Anyway, small screwdriver for working pins loose, and I also didn't put there some wire locks like these guys. So it's good to have a few of those for damage control purposes. All right, so that's it. And I'll leave on my Facebook page a link to this card here for a second if you want it. And also we've done training at Club Nautique on dismasting, and we've tried all these tools here, everything from hacksaws to bolt cutters, hydraulic cutters, saws, band saws, cutoff wheels, and by far the best in the way is a cutoff wheel. So I'll leave a link to that in my Facebook page, so you can download the results of our training and examination of that stuff. All right, so there you have it. Thanks. Mustad Marine out.